It happened. The unthinkable. The shift that showed our frailty. Nonetheless, the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness cannot overcome it. We are separated. We are isolated. And in this world, we have trouble. Nonetheless, we take heart because Jesus has overcome the world. We are conflicted and frustrated, weary too. But nonetheless, those who trust in the Lord will find new strength. We are down but not out, sidelined but still in the game. We fight for our families, we hold on to love, we strive for kindness, but the hard times get harder. Nonetheless, we are more than conquerors through Him who loves us. We walk through adversity. We are sons and daughters of the Most High. We know to whom we belong, and we know where our hope lies. For He is the first and the last, the Alpha and Omega, the one who is and the one who is to come. It looks bleak, they say it's grim, there's a lot to fear, but nonetheless, we are strong. We are courageous. We are the church.
What is good, my people? Good morning, Neverland. Some of y'all didn't get that reference. That's all right. That's from the movie Hook. Throwback shout out to all the millennials who are still rocking with Smee early in the morning. Yo, welcome to Neverland, better known as Chop It Up. Well, we're not trying to grow up. We're actually trying to grow young. We're trying to take after what Christ told us, that we got to go back to being like little kids. And that's when we'll actually discover, find, and walk in the kingdom of heaven. I am your host, proud to be host Michael Polite. I currently serve as the youth director of the South Central Conference of Seventh-day Adventists. Listen, if you are in the building right now, you got to make sure you take this opportunity to like, to share, to throw this stuff to a friend, to make sure other people are hopping on, because we have a huge program on tap for you today. Listen, you can't miss Pastor Tina Carriger, student organizer, Kalin, Griffin, and yes, my folks, we do have in the building with us today, spoken word artist extraordinaire, minister of God, and a brother for show. When I say brother for show, y'all know what I mean. This cat is not just wearing his skin, he's walking in his skin. Yo, my brother Ezekiel Azam is in the building. And let me tell you, you cannot miss this stuff because we are here to chop it up. That's right. What church is really supposed to be is a gathering of like-minded believers who first recognize they are the church. That's first. You got to realize that you are the temple of the Holy Spirit. You are the church. But then when a lot of churches get together and gather, there's supposed to be something magnetic, dynamic that happens. And so we are here to chop it up with one another, utilizing dialogue as our form of worship. And I know that sounds weird. A lot of us are accustomed to being in worship spaces where dialogue is stifled, where it's usually one-way communication. You sit and receive while other people jump in and give to you. However, that's not what Chop It Up is all about. We all get a chance to jump in, be a part of the discussion. So check this out. I don't know if you're watching us on YouTube, whether you're watching us on our South Central Conference Facebook page or on our youth department Facebook page, but wherever you're watching, we want you to join in our live chat. We're going to be featuring some of our highlight chats that are sent in to us, and we're going to place those right up on the screen so other people can see you chopping it up with us. So with all that being said, I think it is time to bring on the Shuri of this operation. You heard me right. Took it back to Wakanda. Holla. We got Shuri in the building. Yep. I don't know if you all recognized her as Shuri, but on last night, she self-disclosed that she is the Shuri of the youth department. And let me tell you, I give her 100% props on that. Let me bring her to the stage. My co-host, we have Pastor Kim Mann. What's up, Kim?
What's up, family? How you doing?
Yo, it's so good to see you. So good to see you.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Tell me more about last night. Kim, I mean, you were here. I mean, we had a serious chop it up session on last night. We had Pastor Judith, student organizer Pace Fordham, and then recording artist Kalante Gavin, who was just, I mean, dropping bombs everywhere. I had to jump in because the place was on fire because this discussion with you four panelists was so amazing. It just set the place on fire. Like, what was that for you? What was that like for you?
Well, first of all, I think it was such a good balance of thought. We had student leaders, we had our, young people, we had, female pastoral representatives. So just to have those groups of thought, having a conversation about manufactured versus authentic life, it was awesome. And I loved it because we don't get to really have those conversations in church settings, right? We got to wait for AY, or we got to wait for a youth federation or a youth congress, or for it to be youth day so we can have a conversation. And even then, sometimes the conversation is squelched by, you can't talk about this, but you talk about this. And within this space, there is the freedom to dialogue about what's really happening, so that we do more than just engage and interact, but we transform. And I think that's what I saw happening last night, was that people, and even those of us who were commenting, we were moving from a place of information and let's have a dialogue to, I can take this with me and I can do something about this where I am. And so that was what was really beautiful to me. And then the Holy Spirit was moving in the chat, So that was awesome too, just to see the ebb and flow of synergy when the Spirit is in the place. So that was fantastic. I had a good time.
Not only was it fantastic, however, I learned some stuff, like the quote, you shouldn't live in your gift. Your gift lives in and through you. Like, that's major. Like, so many people are attached to what they do in life, what they're talented at doing in life. They built their whole identity and reputation on being well known for what they do. However, we're not supposed to live in what we do. What we do is supposed to live in us. And that switch and thinking of that as really the pathway to authentic living, that was huge for me.
Yeah. And then Kalante was talking about, as a kid, you go to, when you're in school, you go to the cafeteria, and it's where you are served. You are given something that's already been prepared for you. But as you graduate, you have the opportunity to go to a food court where you can decide what works and what spiritual diet works for you and God, because God is a God of choice. And that just stuck throughout the whole conversation, that part of going from manufactured to authentic is going from the cafeteria, where I'm just going to take what I've been given and go with it, to, man, God gives me choices in my interaction and in my relationship with him, and that I am able to use those choices to be fulfilled as a human being, but also as a spiritual person. And that was, we just ran with that. We had a bunch of fun with that, but that was something that really stuck with me.
Man, and I want you to know that sitting here listening to you all go at this thing was fulfilling personally for me. It was just fully fulfilling personally. And so I don't know about you, but I am kind of hyped. I'm kind of hyped about this right here coming up right now. We got this thing about to jump off with Pastor Tina Carriger, student organizer Kalin Griffin, and spoken word artist Ezekiel Azam. Kim, tell me what you think is about to happen in this place today.
So listen, first of all, I just have to say that, like, I have to turn my fan side off, because listen, I always tell people, before I was a pastor, I was a poet. Like, I got my rhythm and syncopation in preaching from being a poet first. And that was how God first began to use me in ministry. Was I wrote a poem and then spit that joint, and somebody was like, yo, that was dope, God can use you. And literally I was doing a poem, and someone was like, you need to come preach. And I was like, I don't do that. But then, like, God opened the door through poetry and through spoken word for me to actually find my calling in ministry. So I'm so excited to hear what our brother has to say. I'm so excited for just the revelation. I believe that God is a dope poet. Like, even when Jesus was on the earth, like, he would tell these analogies that would make the people be like, so what are you saying, Jesus? And the people in the mountain would be like, yes, you know what I mean? So I really think I'm excited to hear and experience the dialogue. I'm excited that we have, our fellow sister pastors. I'm just excited for what God is about to do in this space, because I really believe that God uses imagery and analogy and metaphor to teach. And I think that we're going to experience some of that as well. So plus, I'm just excited to like talk to him live and not see him on YouTube. I don't know if anybody else is excited about that, but I am. So yeah.
Well, listen, you're going to have to hold your horses. Hold your horses. He's in the building. We're going to bring him out in a few moments. But before we get to that, listen, do we got a premiere announcement for you today? Listen, Pastor Kim, once again, you've done it. Once again, you've done it, Pastor Kim. You have brought to us something from the planet Jupiter. I mean, this is out of this world type of stuff. We have the premiere of our virtual scavenger hunt. You heard me correct. I don't care where you're watching from around the country. You can participate in the virtual scavenger hunt. Listen, you got to tell me what this is all about, Kim. You got to tell us how we can get involved.
All right, everybody. So this afternoon from 3 to 5, we're going to be having a virtual scavenger hunt. Now, I don't know about you, but growing up, like, afternoons in the church were like, like, what time is sun gonna set? Like, what time can we go out and do our thing? But this afternoon, we have something really fun planned for you. It's a virtual scavenger hunt. And so I'm going to tell you how to participate. So registration is open now. And here are the instructions. The first thing you're gonna do is download the Goose Chase app. So download that app, all right? That's the very first thing you're going to do. Download the Goose Chase app. You'll know because it's orange and it's got 2 little web feet. So you're going to download the Goose Chase app. You can go to goosechase.com. You can look at it in your app. Download the app. Once you download the app, it's going to open up and it's going to ask you to search for a game or enter the game code. The game is SCC Hunt. Or you can enter the game code, which is PEL3JB. And this flyer, we're going to share the flyer with everybody. So we're going to put it up on our Facebook page. We're going to put it up in the Twitter. We're going to put it up in Instagram so everybody can see it. The game is SCC Hunt. If you just start typing in SCC, you'll see the South Central Conference logo pop up, SCC Hunt. Or you can type in the game code PEL3JB, PEL3JB. That's the game code. Once you enter the game code, you'll see the South Central game pop up and you will join the game. Now, there are teams. And you can choose to join a team. You can choose to join any team. We got Team Adam for the guys, maybe. We got Team Eve. We got Team Water Walkers. We got Team Grillers. We got all of the teams. So choose a team that you want. Now, if you and your friends want to play together, let your friends know what team you've chosen so they can join a team. Now, 5 people can join a team. You can have 5 mobile phones connected to a team, all right? So that means there will be 5 people on a team. Once you have your team, then that team will close. No one else will be able to join it, and everyone will be in their team. At 3 o'clock, the game will start. And what's awesome is the app will give you some like, hey, y'all, we getting ready to start. Get yourselves together. And so then at 3 o'clock, the missions will pop up. Now, some of these missions are hilarious. Some of these missions are going to involve your family. Some of these missions are going to challenge you. but you're going to submit the mission. So some of them you're going to take a picture. Now within Goose Chase, you have to use your camera in Goose Chase because listen, I know we all save, but some of us is kind of sort of save and y'all might try to cheat. So the way that we get out of that is you have to take the picture in Goose Chase so that the picture is happening at the moment. So some things require a picture. Some missions require a video. Some missions require that you send in a text message. Now, each of these missions is worth a certain number of points. Some of the easy ones are worth 20 points, 50 points, but there are some in there that are worth 1,000 points.
Goodness.
At the end of the game, at 5 o'clock, all the missions disappear. So that's at 4:45 and think you finna do a sweep. It ain't gonna work like that. At 5 o'clock, all the missions close, and then the game will add up everybody's submissions. The team with the most points wins. Wins what? Mike, they might be wondering what they win. Can I tell them, Mike?
Oh, shoot. Oh, shoot.
I just need to know, can I tell them what they win?
I think you should. You should.
So I don't know about y'all, but I could definitely use some money. The winning team will win $250. Did I say 250? Does the decimal come after the 2, the 5, or the 0? I think it's after the 0.
Wait.
Yes.
Wait.
Yeah.
Did you just say that at a church function,
yes,
we got people getting cash prizes? You didn't say a mug.
Nah.
You didn't say a free Bible.
Not a t-shirt.
You didn't say a free hymnal.
Not a t-shirt.
You said cash. And if my math is correct, 250 divided by 5, because there can only be 5 people on each team. 250 divided by 5, is that somewhere around like $50 a person?
That's $50 per person. That's $50 on Amazon.com. That's $50 at the Mac store. That's $50 at a Black-owned business. Boop. Okay. That's $50 in your Cash App, in your savings account. That's $50. So $250 for the team that has the most points. So you're going to want to strategize. You're going to want to think through which ones can I do to get the most points. And the team with the most points wins. We'll be announcing the winner at 6 o'clock. So let me go through the steps very quickly again. Download the app. Join the game and choose a team. The game is SCC Hunt, or you can enter the code PEL3JB, and then you'll complete the missions for points. The game starts at 3 o'clock, so that's enough time for you to eat your veggie loaf, for you to eat your collard greens, for you to take a Sabbath nap and wake up and keep it pushing, okay? And then you'll complete the mission. Team with the most points wins. Now you need to sign up ASAP because space is limited, okay? We only have a certain amount of teams. Once those teams fill up, you're going to miss out on your blessing. So space is limited. If you need help or if you have questions, you can text the number on the flyer, 256-384-4345. If you have questions, if you need to troubleshoot, if you're having issues, text that number, 256-384-4345, and I will be there to help you along the way. But I won't be giving away any tips or clues or hints, so don't ask. Okay. But yeah, so we're going to put the flyer up. I'm getting ready to put it up right now on all of our social media pages. So share it, get your friends, go get Tay-Tay, go get your mama and them, go get your cousins, go get everybody and tell them, hey, it's time for the scavenger hunt at 3 o'clock. Let's get ready to do it. All right, everybody?
And I think I just heard you say that space is limited.
Space is limited. Listen. Okay, so this ain't the game for the 144,000. Okay, this game is gonna be for just those people who signed up. We have a limited amount of teams.
And I heard you taking less signups than Gideon took. Now Gideon took 300, but I heard word on the street is you looking for the true remnant. I mean, the true remnant. Yeah. Less than 100. We gonna say that. Less than 100.
So
And this
if
thing
you
is
want
wide
to,
open to whoever sees these steps and signs
it's
up. So
whoever.
that could
Now,
be,
now
that could
listen,
be in
my
South
South Central.
Africa, that could be in England, that could be, I mean, yo, it's all around the world right now.
So my South Central Conference folk, don't get slack and lazy and think you're gonna come and sign up at 2:55 and be like, oh, I'm gonna no. So I need you to go ahead. If you want to participate, go ahead and sign up. And this is a great way to meet people from all across the country. Anybody can participate. So do not wait. Download the app, join the game, pick a team. And then when the game starts, you'll complete your missions for points. Team with the most points wins. It's real easy. It's going to be real fun. You're going to have a great time, you, your family. Even if you're at home, you can still participate and maintain social distancing. So don't worry. We're not going to have you running all over the city. Like, we're not going to have you, endangering your life and bringing corona back to your family. These are going to be things that you can do where you are, with your family, with your friends, and have a great time.
This is beautiful, man. Pastor Kim, I want to thank you for such man. In the words of DJ Kalin, here's another one. Here's another one that you just threw down. Another one. And
listen, in the words of DJ Kalin,
yo, you put this together. This is beautiful, and we're going to bring you back on stage here in a few moments. But in the meantime, did you have a final word?
I was going to say, we couldn't have done this without our Federation presidents. They came together and really helped work out the idea. So I have to give a huge shout out to them for helping to organize this thing. And listen, somebody at the end is going to be singing DJ Khaled. All I do is win, 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 no matter what. All right.
Yo, I'm feeling that. Thank you, Pastor Kim. Listen, you better sign up for this thing. That's all I got to say. Do not delay. To our Federation leaders who came together to piece this together from the 5 different states that we have in our region. Shout out to Kentucky, shout out to Alabama, shout out to Tennessee, shout out to the MISS, ISS, IPPI, Mississippi in the building, and shout out to the Florida Panhandle for coming together and pulling this project together. I think it's going to be phenomenal. And as we move on, we're just going to give you a couple house rules here. We only got 4 here at Chop It Up 2020. Keep it clean. Refrain from using crass or explicit language, whether it be in the chat or whether you're a panelist here on the show. Number 2, keep it calm. Refrain from using the platform to attack others. I'm going to say this in Spanish for all of my bilingual people out there who speak a little Espanol. Tranquilate, okay? Por favor. Tranquilate, cálmate, por favor. Yo, chill out. Let people have their place. We tolerate and we include as well as we congratulate. Keep it smart. Keep it smart. We don't want no TMI in the building. Listen, Dr. Brene Brown says it best. Vulnerability is not transparent disclosure. What she means by that is simply you can be vulnerable without telling all of your business. Vulnerability is really about letting people see your heart, not your deeds. And then finally, keep it sharp. Keep it sharp. Refrain from going off topic. We have a very specific topic that we're about to jump into today, and we want you to keep all conversation, wherever you are, on topic so that you can be fully edified by this experience. I'm excited about what's about to happen. First, before we bring out our celebrity guests, we do want to take you to the scriptures, but here at Chop It Up, we do it a little different. We're trying to find the cross section between creativity, that's right, creativity and the word of God. The first act of our God in the book of Genesis chapter 1 was creative. That the God we serve is the master creator of all things we see and experience in nature, around us in the sky, even beyond our planet. And so what I want you to do is take this video in, because we believe this is how scripture readings should really go in a church near you.
No other king could vanquish the war horse or silence the warrior's rage while riding the lowly back of a donkey. No other king could break the dominion of darkness, the tyranny of evil, with a reign of grace and a kingdom of peace. No other king could give his life for the redemption of rebels, his wealth to welcome the outcast. Jesus is that king, the King of glory, Son of the living God. Not just another king, not just another prophet, not just another teacher. He was the one the world had been waiting for, the one to deliver us from captivity, the Son of David and Abraham's chosen seed. He is the goal of the Mosaic law, Yahweh in the flesh. He is the one to establish God's reign and rule, to heal the sick, give sight to the blind, freedom to the prisoners, and proclaim good news to the poor. This Jesus was the Creator come to earth and the beginning of a new creation. He embodied the covenant, fulfilled the commandments, and reversed the curse. This Jesus is the Christ that God spoke of to the serpent, the one prefigured to Noah in the flood, the one promised to Abraham, the one guaranteed to Moses before he died, the one promised to David during his reign, the one revealed to Isaiah as a suffering servant, the one predicted through the prophets and prepared for through John the Baptist. He is the Father's Son, Savior of the world, and substitute for our sins. More loving, more holy, and more wonderfully terrifying than we ever thought possible. He is our Jesus, and there is no other king like him. He is our God, our glory, our victorious Savior. There is no other king like him. There is no other king.
I hope you let that message marinate for you. There truly is no other king. And that's why today we've come to make a distinction between manufactured religion and authentic religion. A lot of individuals have not been able to meet this king that was just spoken of because they have been instead introduced to the systems of rules and regulations instead of introduced to the transformational figure that we call King Jesus, better known to the Hebrews as Yeshua, the one who will save his people from their sins. And so at this time, I want to bring in to our stage once again, Pastor Kim Mann. And Pastor Kim, we're about to do it. You better get your fangirl on, because right now I am bringing to the stage our very own Chop It Up celebrity guest. This is the cat right here, my man, Ezekiel Azam. Yo, what's good, fam?
What's going on? What's going on, family? Man, I'm sorry to disappoint you. I'm not a celebrity, but I definitely am y'all brother in Christ. Good to see you guys.
Dude, man, celebrity for us simply means you are a person of influence that individuals enjoy listening to. Bro, and you have been throwing it down for us for quite some time, man. I mean, yeah. I remember back in the P4CM days where you were there and you guys were having the gatherings and people were coming together. And now it's Poets and Autumn Tour. I was there. I saw you in Chi-Town last fall. We got to meet up there. Dude, I mean, tell me, what's going on in life for you right now?
Man, I would say slow motion, but it's definitely not. God has been doing a lot more in my heart during this season of supposed downtime. I'm still extremely busy with these kids and doing other things for helping other ministries, but God has just been like doing some things in my heart to develop. Like, God has put vision in my heart and in my life, and so I cannot escape vision. Everything is vision. So it's a lot more things that are going to be building the body behind closed doors, and I'm super excited because everything I've done and contributed has been in the spotlight, has been on stages, and I can't wait to see what God does. Yeah.
Dude, I'm receiving that. I mean, the question though, for real, when we get into vulnerable, chop it up space, is that you are currently in the industry of gatherings. Your entire model for ministry was based on these gatherings. And what I want to ask you, man, is tell me a little bit more about how you've been coping in this space of COVID-19. Ooh, Pastor Kim.
Ooh.
Like this man just got on that Enoch journey.
He just got translated. He got translated mid conversation.
Yo, that is hilarious. And so we're gonna let him fix whatever his connection is, and we're gonna bring him back on and continue our interview with him. We're hoping that he makes it back. We're hoping right now you could just throw good vibes in the direction of Ezekiel and say, okay, whatever's going on with his device, block that thing.
Yeah,
so
man.
We can receive what he's been sent to us to give. So we'll just give him a couple of more seconds on that. However, I want to ask you, Pastor Kim, what is your favorite Ezekiel poem?
My favorite Ezekiel poem. Listen, I know this is gonna sound mad cliche, but I love the wedding joint that he did. Like, ooh. For me, so poets oftentimes we can create alone, but when you start creating with someone else, it creates a whole different level of synergy that for me, it reminds me of when the Godhead created earth. And that like there's this synergy that happens when poets are speaking together. And I love the fact that the passion he brought in that and the imagery of God that came with that was so powerful, because so often we portray Jesus as these two polarizing things. Like Jesus is like this soft little lamb of God, you know what I'm saying? And God is like up in heaven ready to strike you down with lightning bolts the minute, you know what I'm saying, you do something wrong. But I loved his portrayal of the figure and the image of God in that poem, because it was the lion and the lamb. It was strength and it was passion. You know what I'm saying? It was the softness and the caring of husbandry with the same pursuit and affection of a father. And I think being able for people to see not just men, but a Black man portray that image of Jesus, because #NWhite Jesus. Sorry, that's just me. You know what I'm saying? Like, to see that imagery, I think has been powerful for our young men and for our youth who are trying to engage and find a Jesus that they can relate to. And for me, that has always been my hands down favorite. I've been a mug like, I gave my lashes for your lashes. So like, and then that poem was just an inspirational piece for me and my own personal writing and my own personal poetry. So that's always gonna be my favorite.
Amazing.
I mean, so Ezekiel, tell me this, man. We're in the COVID-19 world right now, and your ministry model prior to it was not only limited to public gatherings, but public gatherings were a huge fuel for it. So how have you been finding a space to continue getting your message out without having access to large gatherings of people?
Yeah, man. You know, I'm not fighting this time. What I'm not doing, I'm not trying to navigate and find some kind of loophole during this time to just try to get myself out there. That's not what I'm doing. I believe that this is an essential time for me. We always talk about writer's block for writers, and sometimes there needs to be a season of performance blocks. And God just for this year, last year I probably had more performances than I've ever had ever. And this year, for some reason, after doing the tour, my personal bookings had, kind of shrunk down because we've been able to satisfy the demand. But this year, for some reason, it was the opposite. Like, my bookings were just crazy for this year, and all of those things had shut down. So of course there's a financial side to it, but I would have just been up and out. And I know what I prayed in the beginning of the year, and it was, God, I want to be more disciplined this year in my leadership for my family and my personal life than I've ever been. And I would not have been able to allocate that time if I was just ripping and running. Some of the vision that God has allowed me to be able to think of now, they're on paper and about to be executed, and it would not have happened if I was just running around just doing my thing. So I'm grateful for this performance block season during COVID-19. I think it was essential for me, and I didn't realize it.
Man, brother, let me tell you, I started this year, man, and I had this vision where I felt like what I heard in the spirit realm is that 2020 should be taken literally, that this is a year of revealing and clear sight, that individuals are going to see things clearly. What I didn't expect, this is how the spirit realm sneaks up on us, my brother. What I did not expect is that that whole healing aspect or seeing clearly aspect was first to see myself clearly and then to see the world clearly, not the other way around, where I'm always focused on seeing what's going on around me instead of really recognizing and getting in touch with what's going on inside of me. So like, how has your personal mental health been on this journey as you've attempted to like wrestle with Ezekiel during this time? Because I feel like that's happening all over the world. People were forced to wrestle with themselves in spaces without access to those coping mechanisms.
Yeah, man. Especially, man, after the whole, what sparked the protests with George Floyd and the incidents that have just been stirring up. I have my own personal issues. And even before that, I was talking about some of the issues that I relate to being a Black man who has Nigerian immigrant parents, and just the ironies and just the struggles that come with actually trying to cope with those things. And then it just seems like one thing after the other. I know my history with the police, and just everything just started to, it was wearing on me. And when I saw that thing, I gotta admit, for a few days, I was very low. I was thinking some very bad thoughts, man. I'm gonna just tell you. When I read the name of the conference, South Central, I was like, they know where I'm from. Okay, we ready. All right. You know, that stuff started coming up, bubbling up in me, like, man, because I remember when I was arrested for unfairly. I remember when I was treated unfairly by the police, and all of those feelings start to come up with me, and I start to feel some despair, man. But I realized, man, as I began to continue to pray, man, despair is not the portion of the believer. And I realized in my search and in my prayers for the answer, I realized, man, God is not going to dig up and, like, revelation is just really an unveiling, meaning that it's always been there. Now you just have the opportunity to see it. It means it's always been known by someone else other than you. You just got a chance to know it. So I feel like, man, God is just helping us to rediscover, not invent, but just find again what we're holding on to and why we hold on to it. What is this gospel? What does it mean to us? What is our hope and how is it defined? And it was challenged this time, but it was not shaken. And I came back to the place to realize, man, this is why the church is here. The church is here for this particular reason. We have a hope. We have a call to action, and we know what it is. We just had to rediscover it.
Boy, I'm feeling that. I mean, we're talking today about manufactured versus authentic religion. We're trying to get out of the space of man-made rules, regulations, obligations that Jesus actually came to destroy and tear down, and really find this authenticity in our spirituality that allows us to truly become those new creatures. And so as it pertains to the whole religion conversation and discussion, I thought it was so huge that we need to bring in at least 2 other people to join us as we chop it up on this thing, at least 2. But this is such a huge conversation that has been had for literally centuries by everyone. Doesn't matter the class, the ethnicity, the generation. It doesn't matter your location or nationality. Everyone's talking about religion, authentic versus manufactured religion. And so at this time, I want to start bringing in these other panelists we have. I want to bring to the stage our student organizer for today. Oh my goodness, there she is. There she is, student organizer coming to us by way of Pine Forge Academy is in the building. Sister Kalin Griffin, I want to say, what is good with you, my sister?
Hi, everybody. What's up? Good morning, good afternoon here in Maryland. I'm happy to be here, especially with my South Central fam. I am a South Central kid for life. So I'm really just glad to be here with you all today.
Listen, I'm just
and we love you, girl.
Love you all too.
I'm just glad you said yes, Kalin. I can't wait to hear how you chop this thing up, manufactured versus authentic religion. But you're not going to have to do it alone. You got us here. Ezekiel's going to join in the conversation, as well as my sister. Her nickname is Birthday Buddy for me because we actually share the same exact birthday. So whenever it's my birthday, I know it's her birthday. And we've been friends for quite some time now, literally decades. Pastor Tina Carriger, holding it down here in Tennessee. Yo, what is up, Pastor Tina?
Nothing, man. You got an old soul on here, so I hope I can hang with y'all.
You got it, Tina. You got it.
Yo, listen, we needed some seasoned perspectives on this, man. When we start talking about religion, we need all hands on deck, but don't let Pastor Carriger's coyness fool you. She could step into your high school on tomorrow, and y'all would think she's just a senior. That's what you would think. You would think she's just a senior.
Yes, just because I look like I'm 16 or 18, whatever, don't mean.
I feel your struggle, sis. I feel your struggle.
Yo, so let's bring Ezekiel back into the conversation. Listen, guys, we got this heavy topic, right? People usually shy away from this topic, especially when it's on the record, online, as it pertains to religion. And what is its place? Does it have a place? Should we just do away with religion, period? Is there something to keep and hold on to? What is it with spirituality? How do I go about it? Listen, we got a lot to chop up. So Ezekiel, I'm going to kick it to you first. And tell me, what do you define as authentic religion, and what do you define as manufactured religion?
Man, I'll put it like this. I feel like once we come into the knowledge of Jesus Christ, as we fall more in love with him, we read our word, all of those good things, man, we begin to see how much we need him. And so I think the authenticity of religion or authenticity of Christianity comes from us recognizing that, okay, I see the playing field, I see the standard, and I realize that I cannot do it on my own, that I need the power of the Holy Spirit to enable me to do this. And I need him every day, every moment. And so it's just kind of like this aspect of recognition. Do I know that I need this King, this Lord? Is he my Savior? And then manufactured religion is this, hey, give me the set of rules and I'm going to show you how I interpret them with my life. And I'm going to do them my way, and I'm going to do everything in my power. So it's about this, hey, look, God, I'll holler at you when I need you, as opposed to I know I need you at all moments. And there's a humility that you approach this thing with that says, I cannot do this thing alone. Religion is saying, look, I got this. Let me handle it. Let me show them how it's done. So that's my hood way of kind of interpreting it.
Hey, we take all the ways, okay? Keep it real. We talking about being authentic.
On my side.
We're being authentic. Okay, Kalin, I'm gonna throw it to you. Tell me, what do you see as the difference between authentic and manufactured religion? And then Tina, I'll throw it to you.
So one of the things when I hear the word religion, you kind of get lost sometimes. There have been so many blurred lines between religion, worship, and even God, and the dictionary definition is your belief in God or your belief in worship to a higher power or a higher being. And so I think the difference between manufactured and authentic religion is your conscious decision to engage in a relationship with God and your willingness to worship him, versus your manufactured decision, which says that even though I've read the Bible, the only reason I engage in this religion thing is because I know that it's right. And so I stick to the book and stick to the rules. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't use the Bible as our context for our relationship with God, but there has to be your own decision to engage in a relationship with God and not just a relationship with words.
That's good. Tina.
All right. So my answer would actually come from Matthew chapter 22, verse 36 through 40, which is where Christ basically explains that the law of God hangs on two principles: love him and love people. I think that that is the very definition of authentic religion. When there's an absence of one or the other, we're not having an authentic religion, because our walk with God is not going to have us neglect God, number one, as our source of everything. And our walk with God is not, if it's real, it's also not going to cause us to neglect other people. So I believe that authentic religion hangs on the two principles of love God and love your neighbor. I think that inauthentic religion really boils down to the stuff that we make up and consider it law. And when we study the life of Christ, that is literally the problem that he is running into with the scribes and the Pharisees, that they have created rules and regulations that literally have nothing to do with with love for God or love people. It had to do with themselves. And so they created something that was to their taste, that was to their delight, and they considered that law, and then they oppressed everybody else according to some other random definite thing that they created. So I would say that that is inauthentic religion.
You know, and what you all said just resonates so much, because as soon as we start talking about authentic versus inauthentic, we just heard religion. Like, that's the first thing. And we are kind of in a time and in this society where people are pushing back against organized religion, right? And so there's this tension between I love God, but I don't go to church, right? There's this tension between I'm a Christian, but I don't practice or I don't associate with a denomination or a religion. And I know that especially that can be difficult as a young person trying to find your own faith when you live in a household that says you gonna do it this way. We gonna go to church now. This is what it's going to look like. So how do we wrestle with that? How do you, and maybe I can ask you, Kalin, how do you, as a young person, find your authentic self within religion while still living at home, while still trying to manage that tension between this is my parents' God, this is my parents' traditions, versus this is who I'm finding God to be for myself?
Okay, so the first thing that I want to say is, as I have grown in my own relationship with God, it is clear, and it was made clear to me, that you have to learn to serve the God of yourself and not the God of your parents. If you depend on the God of your parents, then you will never get anywhere as far as your own personal relationship with God is concerned. Then here's the second way I want to answer this question. My family, we are currently doing family devotion every night, and we're reading this book. It's called Experiencing God. It's a great book if you want to read it. But when we first got started, this was in the introduction of the book. It says God is not a concept or a doctrine. He is a person who seeks a close one-on-one relationship with you and I. And so the biggest thing as far as developing my own religion was trying to figure out where I messed up my concept of God, and the fact that he really isn't a concept, but he is someone who desires a relationship with me. And I learned, or kind of discovered, that as a child, when you are a child, before you learn your 1, 2, 3s, the first thing that you are met with is people. That's the first thing you learn as a child is people. And your parents sing these cradle roll songs to you. They teach you all the Bible stories as a kid. And the first thing, when you meet God, you don't meet the God of the Bible or the God of a concept. You meet God, the person And so, like, it's my own personal struggle with understanding my religion or who God is and how I will worship him. It's understanding that as a kid, I learned about God, the person, and then I was able to learn about God, the concept, by reading his word and hearing from my Sabbath school teachers, my youth leaders, and all of this, even my parents, the pastors, the preachers. But then it's trying to break that cycle and relearn God, the person, so that I am not serving or worshiping a concept, but I'm worshiping God, the one who desires a relationship with me.
Ooh, wait, Kalin, I gotta jump on the back of what you just shared.
Yeah.
I'm here listening to this, Joy, and I'm saying, ooh, I gotta get on this, because listen, one of the things that I love about the story of Hagar, a lot of people they appreciate Hagar's story because of her strength. She was a black sister who was going through some single mother struggles, you know. And what I love about Hagar's story is what she really teaches us is what true religion is. I like how Hagar knew who the creator was, but then when she has her own experience of deliverance, breakthrough, seeing God come through, she renames God based upon her experience. Now, Abraham, you got to know that she heard Abraham talk about God all the time. She heard Abraham teach Ishmael about his God all the time. She understood the name of God. However, she met God for herself, and all of a sudden she gives God another name, and that name is, you're the God that sees me, because that's what she needed the most. She wanted to be seen. And so as you're talking about the names of God and how we come into this authentic experience, I'm so with you on that. So let me ask you this, Ezekiel, tell me about your name for God, man. I mean, your name, I mean, I've heard you drop names for God in many of your poems, dude. You got to have at least dozens. But like in this moment, brother, like what is your name for God? How would you describe him as he has been for you personally?
Man, he is today and will always be the merciful God. My position towards God is always, God, you saw it fit to allow me to come in contact with you. You saw it fit to find me. You saw it fit to allow me to even be able to mention your name. I feel like salvation is such a gift. We talk about miracles so much and we forget the miracle of salvation. The fact that God could do such a thing to man. I'd have friends that are into apologetics. And I was talking to my mom about my sister, and she's like, man, you know, you got to tell your sister that she needs to give her life to Christ. And I was just like, man, Mom, I don't know if you understand how much of a miracle it is to say, I'm rocking with Jesus for the rest of my life. It is a divine miracle, because every day that you wake up, everything that's happening on the news, everything that we go through in our personal lives are straight up attacks. It's the serpent sliding itself into our context to say, did God really say that he's faithful? Did God really say that he's merciful? Did God really say that he'll provide for you in all seasons? And so I feel like the fact that we're here having conversations like this is evidence of that merciful God who is miraculous even in the mundane. And so I see it. And so I appreciate him for just being merciful to allow me to be able to have this.
Yeah, I know for me, when I felt the shift from God and my relationship with him going from manufactured to authentic was when my dad died. Because prior to that, I hadn't even had a goldfish die. That wasn't something that I could resonate with. And then all of a sudden, like, my dad got sick on a Friday, and the next Friday night he was gone. And so I had to resonate with that. And I remember when they told me he was sick, And I was just like, wait a minute, God, no, like I go to church, I worship you, I go to private school. Like, this is not supposed to happen to me. Like, where is this? What's this? And I just remember the peace of God coming over me. And that was the first time I really experienced peace that didn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? Like when everything is going crazy, you like, what? I'm calm right now. And I remember telling God, if you allow my father to die, I don't need no Alpha and Omega. I don't need Jehovah Jireh. I need a daddy. I need you to step in, and I need you to be my father. If you're going to take my earthly father. And in that moment, I just had a come to Jesus conversation with God. And when my dad passed away, literally, I have seen God step in as a father, like straight up, like when I was dating and Negroes wouldn't be acting right, I'd be like, Daddy, excuse me. And Daddy be like, bloop, that one's gone, bloop, that one's gone. I mean, he would prepare my heart and say, no, don't deal with that. Hey, I'm driving and all of a sudden my car starts smoking. What am I gonna do? I'm telling you, Daddy would show up and put the right people in the right places to help, you know what I'm saying, take care of me. And for me, that helped my experience to shift from this weekend God to this God who was actively involved in raising me in the absence of my earthly father. And so for me, like I pray to Daddy, like I talk to my daddy, and that helped transition my relationship from something that was manufactured and given to me to something that I had to say, like, we're going to have this is going to be a relationship. This is going to be an exchange of my humanity. And what about you ladies?
I will say that for me, my relationship with the Lord shifted from being just a church thing to a personal thing. Probably, I'm from Lincoln, Nebraska originally, Central States Conference. I was baptized by Pastor Mark Harris, and that's how me and Pastor Polite know each other, because we were under the same tutelage of Pastor Fordham when he pastored the church. But when I was growing up, there was a good group of about 10 young people, myself and a few others, who were just going to churches because our parents made us. And, we enjoyed the fellowship with each other. But there came a point, part one, where the cutest boy in the church took his stand for Christ. I was like, oh, okay. So I had been thinking about Jesus, but I wasn't really thinking about Jesus until old boy stood up and said he wanted to get baptized. I was like, okay, maybe Jesus is somebody I need to be, processing seriously. I know it's so carnal, but listen, God is great.
You whatever.
So the Lord used this cute boy in church as kind of bait to get my attention. And then, man, when I found out, let me tell you how carnal I am, or I was at the time. So I was like, yo, when is he getting baptized? Because whenever he's getting baptized, I want to be baptized in the same water that he's getting baptized in. This is absolute foolishness. I don't know what I thought that water was going to do for me, but I wanted to be in the same water, getting baptized with him.
If I can just touch the hem of your baptismal garment.
Yes, if I could just touch the hem. Yes, if I could just get a splash. But so when I found out that I was not getting baptized in the same Sabbath that he was, I was really disappointed. And I almost thought about, going back on my thing of getting baptized. But then the Lord was like, no, I need you to keep moving forward. I've called you for a reason. So the first part was, that would begin the first shift in, at the time that I got baptized, all I knew was that the seventh day was the Sabbath. I didn't know nothing else. But I went ahead and went forward with the studies. I got baptized and it was wonderful. But then the other part was that I went to public school. I didn't even go to private Christian school until I did my undergrad. And so while I was exposed to people who did not believe the same thing as I did, but I had a passion for sharing Jesus with my classmates, some who were not even Christians, some who were Jehovah's Witness, some who were Catholic. That allowed me, when they confronted me with questions about, okay, well, why do you believe that, or why do you believe that, I would go back home and I would be opening my Bible trying to figure out ways to respond to their questions. And so the call of God on my life that I didn't even realize was God calling me to be a pastor, but his call on me from that point was a thing from, it's no longer just about, the faith of the elders and the Sabbath school teachers and the ushers and the pastor anymore. Now I'm calling you to go on a faith journey with me where you're going to have to find answers for yourself. So I'm going to public school, encountering people who don't believe in him, coming back home, opening my Bible. Lord, how do I show them you in the scriptures? And so in the process of me trying to witness to my classmates at school, God was taking me through a journey on my own, so that it's no longer the faith of the people that I look up to, but now it's a faith that I actually fundamentally believe. That's my answer.
Hey, listen, God will use whatever, whoever, whenever. He'll use donkeys to get your attention. He'll use cute boys getting baptized to get your attention. I love it. Kalin, have you experienced a shift, or as you're experiencing your shift, have you had a defining moment that you can think of?
You froze up a little bit. Can you repeat what you said?
So I was asking about, have you had a defining moment? Like, is there something in your experience that really, like, the light bulb went off and you were like, listen, I got to make that shift from, like you said, cradle roll to having that real relationship?
So definitely, if you know me or you know my family, then you know that ministry has literally been my life day one out of the womb. When I was 3 years old, my dad became the youth director for South Central Conference. So we were traveling all over the conference territory. AYS was my life. AYS songs, summer camp meeting. I eat, sleep, and breathe youth ministries literally from day one. And as I kind of went through this cycle, I mean, I'm 17 and I still haven't exited that cycle. As I got older, it became evident to people around me, and I guess you can say to myself, that not only did I have an interest in ministry, but I actually had a gift for ministry. And I thank God for that gift, just to be able to share in every capacity that I've been able to share in. But as I talked about this book earlier, but as I've been reading this book, I realized that your relationship with God or your development of a religion does not come from the things that you do for God. I do youth conferences. I host things for people. I preach for people. I'll go and sing for people. And I've been a part of and active and passionate about ministry, except I've been doing it, and that is my relationship with God. This is how we connect. The way that I serve you is simply by doing stuff for you, not necessarily that I am engaged in a consistent or even, I'm just being transparent, even a strong relationship with you. But the fact that I'm doing something for you says that we are connected. And so recently, after I went through a period of time where I felt like God just wasn't speaking to me, I have understood that I actually have to develop a relationship with God. It's not enough for me to just do things for him. I mean, of course, you have to serve God in every way possible, but doing things for him is not my religion.
I love that. That's so. I love that you said that, doing versus being. And I think that that's such an important shift that has to be made. Ezekiel, I want to ask you real quick. So you have traveled the world using your gift to help people shift from authentic or from manufactured to authentic, right? So like, how do you use your gift? Like, how do you use poetry to help people make that shift? You know what I'm saying? From this is who I think God is to wow, like God is somebody I can relate to. How do you do that?
I think that God does it first,
Mhm.
and I think He does it in a couple of ways, or a myriad of ways in my life. I think the person that God has called me to be, as a husband, as a father, as a friend, as the person that you see off the stage, in combination with the topics that are being talked about, now becomes now God's platform to say, let me show you who I am. And I think if we're just going to be clear with the definition, I think sometimes religion is just about us trying to show the world who we are by means of using God. And God wants to show the world who He is, and in the mundane, and in and through us. And so it's about really showing people God instead of showing people us. So I feel like at the end of the day, God shows Himself by saying, like, this young man is flawed. This young man needs me. This young man is not so absorbed in his gift that when he walks off the stage that he can't look you in the face and have a conversation with you. At that moment, what I would have said on the mic would have been convicting, and that would have been great. But sometimes that's where it ends. But after that, the moment where someone sees a person walk off the stage and see how they deal and how they handle off the stage, it's like, okay, so he's serious about God. And then they go to the social media and they say, so this is so you're serious about God. I have people who come to me and be like, okay, so like they're doing the poetry and they're better poets. It's just like, but I want to get serious with God. And I think God, that's what He wants to do. I think this spoken word is just, it's almost like the appetizer. It's like, let me just give you guys a taste so you can see that I'm working, but let me show you what's happening behind the scenes so you could be interested in the motive. And I'm gonna say this. One of my friends said this: your motive is your motor, meaning what true religion is what really motivates you to get up there and say what you're saying. So I think no matter how dope the poem is, if I'm not motivated by really showing people God, at the end of the day, the Bible talks about our works being tried by fire and our motives will be exposed. So at the end of the day, I don't really celebrate the person that I am on stage, because it is a facet of who I am. It's not the full me. My wife knows the full me. My kids see the full me. So I'm really focused on making sure that God allows my full life to be on a platform for people to see and for people to experience God through me on that level.
Oh, I'm so feeling that. And I'm feeling this conversation, because what we're really getting to is the nitty-gritty root of it all. That religion was never supposed to be stored in some type of institutionalized or systematic process of thinking. Like, it was never supposed to be so formulated that individuals were stifled from creatively seeking the creator of the universe. And somebody needs to drop that in a chat or retweet that or something. Like, you are not supposed to be stifled from creatively seeking the creator of the universe. It's actually just supposed to be a part of the journey. And if there's anything I'd want people to get from this conversation, is that religion sometimes is positioned as a destination. All religions seem to have this really bad habit and preoccupation with getting somewhere. Like, if I could get to heaven, or if I could get to the perfect form of myself, or if I could get to the Nicene fields, or if I could get to nirvana, like, everybody's trying to get somewhere. However, true religion, as defined in the Bible, is all about you being present and aware enough to notice the suffering around you, and then to get involved, to recognize the suffering in you, and to let that mourning process guide you in how you can serve this planet and other human beings. It's not about getting any place. Or as my therapist once told me recently, she said, Michael, destiny is like a turtle. It's always on your back. It's always with you. Stop trying to journey towards your destiny and instead do what the turtle does. When the turtle wants to get to its home, what does it do? It just goes inward. That's all the turtle does. It just moves inward. Whenever we are trying to get to this place of destiny, we're out of pocket, we're out of purpose. It's all about reconnecting with the kingdom of God that is within you already. Destiny is walking by you every single day. Or as David says, goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. Yo, that is what destiny is. It's just about experiencing the goodness and mercy of the Creator. So I want to thank our panelists. I want to thank Ezekiel. I want to thank Kalin. I want to thank Tina. I want to thank Pastor Kim. I just want to thank y'all for being a part of this. And so as we start to wrap up Chop It Up 2020, episode 2, we're going to ask you all to exit the stage in our traditional fashion, which is to just throw up the deuces. Just tell people peace, man. Peace be upon you. Peace be upon your family. Peace be upon yourself. Peace be upon your neighborhood. Just, peace be upon you. Thank you all for being a part. It was so good having you all here at Chop It Up 2020. Man, Pastor Kim. Kim. It went down again. Chop It Up 2020, episode 2. Listen, as you think about walking in this whole idea of authentic religion, what's the main takeaway that you have as you're leaving this episode?
I think, the main takeaway that I would say is that, and I know it gets such a bad rap, is, the pushing away from religion and using religion as like this checklist, right? So did I go to church today? Check. Did I read my Bible today? Check. Did I pray today? All of the tenets that religion, like you said, says, if you do these things, then you will get to this place. And then what happens is we don't check off the list. I don't know how many of y'all out there have a to-do list that you don't to get done. Like you say you're going to do it, but you don't get through all of the things. And then somehow you feel like, well, I didn't do what I was supposed to do. And I didn't accomplish all of these things. So then we end up feeling like a failure according to religion. So then religion never satisfies, right? And then when you start to say, man, like God is with me today, like I have what I need to be who God needs me to be today. And that God is working with me, right? Like you were saying, where I am within me, then it becomes freeing. Then I can be my authentic self to create, whether that's write a poem or sing a song or use my gift without fear of what is religion going to say about me. What is religion going to say about if I checked off all the lists? What is religion going to say about who I am? And then it's just like, God says my gifts will make room for me. God says that who the Son sets free is free indeed. God says, like, goodness and mercy shall follow me. So I'm not chasing after goodness and mercy, like, God, be good to me. God, have mercy on me. I'm walking and goodness and mercy is like, yo, I got you. I'm right behind you. I'm following you. And so to me, that just gives, I think, the believer, regardless of where you are, the freedom in knowing that like God is actively pursuing you. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And that's where I can rest and be free. So that was my final take, is just, operating in your authentic self frees you to be creative with God and allows God to create within you.
Yo, you better talk that talk. You better talk that talk, Kim. My takeaway from this episode is really that I am free to pursue God in my own unique way. And I think so many people are afraid of that because they feel if we don't systematize our pursuit of reconnecting with the creative force that brought us into being, if we don't systematize that, then some bad, terrible things are going to happen. However, we have so systematized the process that some of the great transformational things that are supposed to happen can no longer happen. There's no room for the mysterious. There's no room for the new. There's no room for creativity and innovation in our pursuit of reconnecting with that creator. And so I'm leaving episode 2 saying, Mike, man, be free. Be free to go pursue the creator who is always in pursuit of you. And as the word of God says in the book of James, draw near to God and he will draw near to you. And I just received that. I think that's religion. Religion is the drawing near, allowing the creator to draw near and meeting somewhere in that journey.
And I love what you said, Mike. And I think that's such a great point to end on, is being free to pursue the creator in your own unique way. Nobody goes outside and says, man, I wish all of these trees were oak trees. Like, I wish all of these, why didn't God make all of these trees the same? It's because the very nature of God exposes us to the vast ability for God to make so many things that give him praise. Like, all of these things give him praise. He didn't confine his creativity to one type of flower or one type of animal or one type of plant. So why would God confine his creativity in us to one type of worship or one type of praise or one type of whatever? And so I think what you said is just so freeing. Like, my young people, my youth leaders, like, let your young people pursue and discover God in their own armor, in their own way, in their uniqueness. And what you will find is more young people who are willing to pursue Christ where they are, instead of chasing them and being like, come back to church. You ain't gonna have to do that, because they're free within the organization or religion to be able to express that love and that relationship with God as God is expressing it in them.
Yo, does not the prophet say, behold, I want to do a new thing? That's what the prophet says.
Even now, it
brings forth. Even now, like right now, not the future. So we're not waiting for some future system, and we're not waiting for permission from the past. We're actually grounding ourselves in this present moment where the true power of God resides. Because God does not exist in future or past, because God is above time, transcends time. So there's no future or past in eternity, which means God can only reside in the present. And when I get into this present moment, when I keep my mind from floating to the future or keep it from drifting into the past, keep it away from regrets of the past, keep it away from anxiety about the future, and just ground myself in the present moment, all of a sudden something powerful happens. I start experiencing or encountering the creator right now. And so I'm receiving that word of a new thing. Real quick before we sign off, tell us again about the virtual scavenger hunt. We got to get on this.
Virtual scavenger hunt. Listen, space is limited. People are signing up right now. Like, this thing is almost full. So virtual scavenger hunt, download the Goose Chase app. Join the game and choose a team, and then complete the mission for points. So once you join, it'll tell you, hey, you need to look for a game. The game is SCC Hunt, or you can put in the game code PEL3JB. And then at 3:00, the missions will go live. And the object is to complete with your team as many missions as you can. Now, whoever completes a mission, that mission is complete for your team. And so you want to try to get as many points as possible, because the team with the most points will win $250. Yes, I said $250. The team will win $250 for your team. So you definitely want to jump on that. If you need help or if you have questions, you can contact me. The flyer is up on all of our social media pages. Or if you need, like, right now help, you can text text 256-384-4345, and I'll help you troubleshoot if you're having a hard time. But we want you, get your cousins in them, get your family in them. You can sign up for your family. So if you're in your house, you don't have to have everybody in your house sign up. You sign up for your house, for your household, and you'll compete on that team. We got Team Griller, we got Team VeggieTales, we got Team Samsonite, we got Team Them Disciples. So join in, join a team, and we're going to have a lot of fun. In fact, I actually have a surprise for you all. When we announce the winner, the Lord just sprinkled a little extra love on our team. And
Okay.
so, yeah. And
Extra
so
love.
some extra love
All
towards
right.
the winning team. So I have a surprise that I'll reveal when I reveal the winning team. So you want to get in. Spaces are limited. So go ahead, download the app, join a team, and we're going to have a great time.
Man, Pastor Kim, I want to thank you again for another wonderful episode. Chop it
Yeah,
up.
man.
Episode 2 in the books. We're looking forward to the scavenger hunt on this afternoon, 3 to 5 p.m. We want to also remind you to keep pushing, keep getting out there, keep activating yourself, protest, understand your rights, show up and hold the system accountable. Listen, it is our personal and gospel-driven responsibility to activate ourselves and get involved as our country and even the entire world is currently going through a transition of change. And so with all that being said, we're going to end this episode like we end all of our episodes at Chop It Up. We are going to end with our theme song. And this theme song has really touched me, hit me. Not only the lyrics, but also the imagery of this song has just really done some major things in my life. And so I'm going to play our theme song. It's entitled Brother. It just dropped recently. Listen, if you love it, go ahead, look it up on YouTube, share it with someone else. But whatever you have to do what you need to do to get yourself in a space of love, care, compassion, and empathy for other human beings, because we're actually not that much different. No matter what your ideology, ethnicity, nationality, gender, or even your orientation. Listen, we're all the same because we all need the Spirit of God to fuel our lives. And we are all seeking for affirmation, affection, admiration, as well as we're wanting people to come beside us and to keep us kind of in the know about our value and in the know about how much we mean to them. We all need it. We need community. And so I want to thank you once again for being at Chop It Up 2020, episode 2. You got to make it back for Chop It Up 2020, episode 3, where we will have with us a new set of panelists. We will also have our celebrity guest, minister and recording artist Keela Richardson with us. So don't miss it. Don't miss it. Don't miss it. Whatever you do, make sure you're back at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time for Chop It Up episode 3, our finale episode of this season's show. And so without further ado, blessings be upon you, peace be upon all those around you, and make sure you let your light shine so that others can see the good in your life and glorify the Creator who made you. God bless you.
When I look into the face of my enemy, I see my brother. I see my brother. When I look into the face of my enemy, I see my brother. I see my brother. Forgiveness is the garment of our courage, the power to make the peace we long to know.